And welcome, guys. Episode number 3 of Charlese Presents. Today is July 11th. And first, I can't go any further without wishing a happy birthday to Miss Alicia Joel, my second born. Birthday was yesterday. She turned 23. So happy birthday to her. And I have actually on the recording with me today is actually going to be her official birthday party crashers from last night. So how was the party, guys?
Wild. Great. It was awesome. I am the reigning flip cup flip cup champion.
The flippy cup.
Really?
If y'all saw
Awesome.
it. Yeah, if y'all saw it, if y'all follow me on the YouTubes, Katie, Kayyyd. If you follow me on the YouTubes and you saw Anna beat me on the flip cup ranking game, but then you saw me come back miraculously. Flip 2 cups. So
like the True Milford, you came back and you reigned supreme.
But Anna did run through all us last night though. So
I mean, played last night.
Yeah, we played last night over there, and yeah, she had beat me and Naya and Joelle
A couple times,
maybe like 3 times.
Huzzah! Couldn't nobody touch me.
She's like, I got this. Somebody want to see me? I will flip your cup. I've never played. It sounds similar to something that we did around Christmas time, but I can't remember that far back. That's like 2 years ago. So everything was. I heard there were some red silk robes that came out. Because this was a pajama theme party, right?
Oh, we didn't know that, but
I wasn't told. But
so you guys just kind of showed up, but everybody looking like they're ready for bed.
But yeah.
Well, I'm glad
we had a good time, and it was it was wholesome, decent fun.
yes, it was.
Sure it was. Tell me anything. Sure it was. Yeah, I was surprised. I saw her on Facebook at 7:30 this morning, and I was actually very surprised because I know the Jello shots I made.
Oh, I had some of those too. Those Jello shots were fun.
Yeah, those were doing something crazy. Because I had 2 and I had to wake myself up off the sofa so I could finish the rest of the the stuff I made her. So I know that was But I'm glad.
To the cognac queens. Shout out to all the
Cognac queens. Not me. I'm not a cognac queen, but shout out to the cognac queen.
Well, I'm glad it seemed as if they had a good time. I know somebody who probably did not have that great of a time last night. Did you guys see the red table where Jada brought herself to the red table last night?
Ooh. Yes, we did. And that's not even something I watched, but I had to watch to see what was going to be said there.
Yes.
And the one thing I can say is, boy, Jada is smooth with it because
yes, she is. Yes, she is.
That's just something you made up, but I was just supposed to act like that's a thing and that it was a spiritual thing and it shouldn't be looked at as anything else. It was a spiritual entanglement. And that's what y'all need to know. And it was okay for her to do it. So, I mean, that's smooth right there. Poor Will, but that was smooth. She handled that.
His eyes were so like you could tell he had been crying. I feel real bad. And he just It's like what am I supposed to say right now? I want to flip this red table, but what can I do?
Exactly. Yeah, because I saw the captions because I didn't look at the August guys interview, so I wasn't going to look at this, but the caption kind of drew me in because this man's facial expression was either saying I need some Benadryl because my allergies are really fucking up, or it was saying I'm really heated right now. But the captions were always reading how calm he was and how he took it so easy. And I was like, these are not matching for me. Now, for me, I'm not excusing infidelity or whatever the case is. It would be nice if we could normalize being faithful until you're divorced, but that's just as far-fetched as saying, stay a virgin until you're married. So we know that's not going to happen. But I understand there was a split. You know, they separated for whatever reason. They, you know, they both stated, you know, they were looking for happiness and they need to find that on their own. So it sounds like this had, you know, whatever brought that on, they didn't really go into it, which the whole thing, they didn't really go into a lot. And I haven't watched a lot of the Red Table episodes, so I don't know how in depth they normally go. But I have to assume most of her guests are not there for 10 fucking minutes. That's just my guess. But for me, my takeaway was a little bit different. I do agree with you, Anna. I do feel as if she was smooth. She was very smooth, but the word I prefer to use is a little bit toxic. I think that I can overlook the infidelity because that happens. Not excusing it, but it happens. And they weren't together. So whatever, you know, they're separated, they're single. Even Will said, hey, I don't even think that we're getting back together. So, you know, this is over. It's done with, you know, hey, we could put this in ink because I'm done. Like, he was just over it. He says this. But the thing that gets me is who she decided to cheat with, or who she decided to be with. I don't want to use the word cheat. And it just makes me wonder when I hear them both say, when we met him, he was sick. Whether in the physical, mental, or emotional sense, your family was his support network. Your family was there to help him. And then you turn around and this is the person that you have this entanglement with. And no matter how cute of a word you use, this is still someone, you know, the age difference was there. I heard people say that this was her kid's friend. Obviously, this was somebody that was invited not just into your homes, but into your lives, where you guys were trying to support him and help him. And then you turn around and I understand you. Yeah, I understand you say that once you started back communicating with your husband, that he decided to make an exit. You know, he left it alone. But, you know, that could be looked at in so many ways. And I think the biggest thing for me was just who she decided to do this with. This is somebody that you were supposed to be helping. And I'm pretty sure that he's in a worse situation now, or, you know, 4.5 years ago, you know, hell, might still be in that worse situation now than probably before they met him. Because you not only lost your support system, you lost a lover, you lost a friend, you know, you lost all of these things. And what really made me cringe, other than the fact that she was sitting there comfortable as hell, like, I understand this was years ago and you and your husband have already moved past this, whatever, but it struck me kind of like, what the hell? Like, you're sitting there Indian style and all this crap, like, you know, like you're at a fucking campsite and you're talking about this. But again, excuse the infidelity, like, put that aside, but the fact that you were supposed to be in this person's life to heal them. And I think that you probably damaged them a little bit more. And for her to smile and say she found joy in healing him, that made me sick. Like, I was just like, what the hell's wrong with this woman? And I don't expect anybody to agree with me, but you know, that's me. But I would have to say, if it was reverse, if we flipped it, because, you know, in all honesty, sometimes that's the only way we can get some of us females to understand situations, is to kind of put ourselves in it. So if we flipped it and August was Ashley, and Ashley was this young girl that they took in and they were, you know, trying to help heal this person mentally or emotionally, and then we'll end up sleeping with this child, we would, oh my God, he took advantage.
The healing thing, you know, sometimes that's how that works. And I mean, I'm not, by all means, I'm not defending her or nothing like that, because I feel like that was just pure manipulation. I really do think that it was very bizarre to even watch, because I do feel like, in a way, but that should be an intimate thing between you and him. Like, I feel like it didn't, even though, I don't know, it's like she lied at first and then all of a sudden now you want to come table talk or whatever. But I also,
well, she had said that they had never made any of those headlines or the,
oh yeah, you're right.
She never,
they never said that. You're right. So, okay, again, my big thing is that with all this being very Hollywood, what if all of it been, you know, scripted or staged as, you know, anyway? I mean, I had to remind myself who August Alsina was and what the 1 or 2 songs that he had were, you know what I mean? And I mean, I think he had just recently put out something and then this resurfaced. So it's like,
I don't even know any of his songs. The name sounds familiar, but I have absolutely no clue who he is.
Just look him up this morning. Man, I love this. Man, I love that. I'm gonna keep
Still
on
don't
saying
know it.
I love this. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not singing it the best, but whatever. He had that song and another one. And I mean, to me, even listening to him now, it's like, like I think he been hot for a second, and that was that. And I mean, like I said, he had just recently put out something, and you know how sometimes people do stuff, little
To
publicity stuff
create that buzz.
for their
Yeah.
hype. Yeah, because even they were sitting there and they was like, we have been deal with this. This was already over and done with. It's surprising to us that it's coming up right now. You know what I mean? So it
Mm-hmm.
could have been all
Could
staged.
be a combination of everything. Yeah. I mean,
Honestly,
and
it could, but I guess my thing was with I had want to touch on the healer thing that you were saying or whatever, like, she was supposed to be there to help it or stuff like that. Sometimes that's how people try to relay a spiritual kind of connection or entanglement, because yeah, I saw you at your worst or at your lowest, and I helped you through that, so yeah, you got obviously some kind of feelings, emotion, some kind of something strong towards me, and I probably do now towards you, because look at what I've helped you become out of what you were, kind of thing. So I can definitely see that happening. I'm not, like I said, condoning or nothing like that, but I can see that, just like how people, unfortunately get attached to they kidnappers and stuff like that. I
yeah.
mean, I think it can work the same way.
And I get that. I get that. I guess it just kind of struck me. I guess kind of, and I understand. It's 4.5 years or whatever for them, and they've progressed through it, and this is where they are now with it. And there's always been little headlines or whispers here and there about their relationship or their marriage, of them having an open marriage or whatever the case was. You always heard things. I guess the shocking thing to me is just, again, just the person who she chose to do it with. And I understand completely what you're saying. It's like we connected on this level, and now I know the
like
mm-hmm.
If you're sick, I'm the kind of taking advantage of you, but I guess
but see, we don't see it like that, and that's what I'm not understanding. Because if this was Flip, again, if this was Ashley and Will, if this was a female and Will, we would be ready to banish this man from this country. We would think that he was the lowest form of a human being to take advantage and manipulate this young girl in this situation when you were supposed to be there to help her. So I don't understand the cheering and the applaud for Jada. It's like, yeah, now y'all see how we feel. And it's like, no, I don't see that. Cheating or hurting someone, it's point blank period, is wrong. And I understand, and I can't even keep saying cheating, because I understand when you're not together, you're not together. Doesn't make it any easier, as we could see on this man's face last night. It did not matter that it happened 4.5 years ago. It did not matter that they were not together. A man does not want to know about or anybody doesn't want to know about their significant other with somebody else. And then to have to share that in such a public eye like that, that's just kind of like reopening that wound.
To me, part of it, I feel like, yeah, we got the story, but I have to also remember that these are celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was a coincidence that right before I heard the whole thing about him, going on an interview and saying, oh, me and her had this relationship, that he had just put a song out. And this is a guy who hadn't put music out in a while. Mm-hmm. So to me, is it like, was this a whole big thing? Because they said it happened, almost 4 years ago. So okay, we want to get August back in the spotlight. He's going to put out a new album. We're going to reinvent him, throw him back out there. What's something that's going to catch, that's going to get him trending? This is going to get him
right trending. Now.
And Jada Will could have already known that and been a part of it and said, okay, that's fine. As long as you give us 5% of, whatever you make from whatever. It could also just be that, maybe the Red Table Talk ratings have started getting a little low. Okay, this is something that can shake it up.
Yeah, so now Jada got to bring herself to the table, the ultimate guest.
Yes, let's bring it out. And I mean, I'm gonna air out my dirty laundry. Yeah. America loves that. America loves people here. We do other people's problem, and especially if it's a celebrity. Yeah. Celebrities have problems, they're having issues, and
give me some. Yeah.
Yeah, and Black Twitter definitely mobilizes Will and Jada as that one of those Black couples to be. You know, they're successful, they have successful kids, they're into the arts, they have money, they're open. People want to hear about them and what's going on, good or bad. And
that's true.
I don't put it all past just being part of some publicity stunt for August.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Because and it's one of those things where, I guess my heart kind of goes out to the entire situation. If you always hear hurt people. So, maybe if she was going through something and, like she said, she wanted to feel good. So, obviously I can't imagine, we have our regular everyday ass relationships and lives. Can you imagine being under spotlight like that? Can you imagine everything that you do, from the tissue you buy to the restaurant where you eat, where everyone's looking and talking and it's making headlines, and like you said, like, we kind of look up to them like, hey, or we look at them as that that couple to be, in a sense. So it's like, you already have that pressure. So I can only imagine what that's like on top of everything else that you're having to go through. So I definitely do agree that there's something there. But at the end of the day, not only are these people actors, they're celebrities, and they're in the business of making money. And right now we're dealing with COVID. We're dealing with the huge issues with still have not arrested Breonna Taylor and Elijah McClain's murderers. All of this stuff still going on. And you're going to drop out a song, put out this album. It's like, who the hell cares? We don't care that you have an album, but we care that there's some juicy shit going on with one of our favorite Hollywood super Hollywood couples. So we want to hear about this. So yeah, so you're probably definitely right. It's a sad situation either way, if that is the case, which I'm sure there is some benefit there for somebody, because you don't have to address this. I don't really remember, and I don't follow celebrities that great like that, unless it's Partisan Fontaine or, Sean Carter. But so, I don't really follow them that well, but I don't really ever remember them coming out and addressing things in this great detail. And it really wasn't that great detail, because it was only like 11 minutes and some change. And most of that Will Smith saying, what was it, Jada? What was it, Jada? And then, we all got hip to this new word of entanglement. So, that was pretty much what the majority of it was. But, hey, I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. I think it was how can we bust through this COVID and BLM issues that's going on right now. And what else? We love gossip. If I haven't said it yet, and I probably have, I'm not sure. But this is actually our third episode, guys. And again, with me, it's going to be KD and Anna. And we are actually going to be talking about Black women in the workplace. And this came about because of a post that Anna shared on Facebook. And I have that post pulled up. And it surprised me when I saw it, because I truly thought it was just a me thing. I didn't realize, and I think I even said that on your post, like, oh, I didn't know this was a thing. But it was a repost from where else but Black Twitter. And a young lady says, Black women are not allowed to be introverts in professional settings, and that shit is draining. And I felt that with everything that I am. I felt that, because I was like, oh shit, we really can't. And amongst other things, but that is something that I know you said you more recently dealt with. I pretty much am dealing with or have dealt with. But you left a job behind it.
Yeah, I did. A good job. A good job. And I liked the work. I loved the work. It was the people. They had all been there. Most of them had been there for, I think, 10, 15 years with each other. It was a very small office environment, 10 people total. And I came in there as a newbie to the field and a newbie to the office. But it was warm and welcoming and stuff at first, which was great. It was great. But I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert and I have social anxiety. And it's not anything that I like to go broadcast, not anything I like to talk about. I don't want to, hello, I'm Anna and I have social anxiety. So sometimes I might get weird. I just deal with it in the ways that I can. And with other jobs, I had worked where there's so many people and there's so many things going on. It never really got brought up or was an issue. But with this, it really got tuned in because they were types that, hey, let's go have drinks after work, or, almost every month we're going to have a birthday party where we're all going to sit around here and eat cake with each other, or we're going to have breakfast together and lunch together. And it's like, okay, yeah, I kind of wanted to eat lunch in my car alone. I kind of, I have being around a lot of people all the time, sometimes it stresses me out. It really kind of inflames that anxiety. And unless you have it, you don't realize how overwhelming it can be to have to be engaged with a group of people for 8 hours.
Yes.
8 hours of your day. And it took a toll on me. And sometimes I might have come in and I might not have said a good morning. But to me, that wasn't that big of an issue because in my head, I'm thinking like, did I wear the right shoes today? What am I going to do wrong today? My anxiety's flaring up today. So I'm not really thinking about what other people are thinking about. And it just became an unfair situation where I was having to put my mental health on hold, on a back burner, to make everyone else feel comfortable with me being around. But once I stopped doing that, that's when things got bad. It was a pretty much no one's going to talk to you about anything. And I'm like, that's fine if you don't want to chit chat with me. I'm okay with that. Don't chit chat with me. But when it comes to work, I need you to answer me. If you're put in charge of me and I'm having trouble with something and I'm coming to you, I need you to not be petty and just give me little short answers that aren't really going to help me because you don't like me or you don't like my attitude that day, or I didn't say good morning to you, or for whatever petty reason. It got to the point that those reasons were enough that I left the job, that I was every single day was miserable. Every single day I'm coming in with my anxiety already on 10 because I already know that my coworkers are not really feeling me. My coworkers already have something against me because I'm not talking and interacting with them. It must be because I don't like them, or I have something against them. And most of the time it had absolutely nothing to do with them.
Or something got to be wrong. What's wrong? Why are you not talking? What's going on? Are you sure everything's okay? It's like, dang, why I can't just fucking be quiet?
Like I have my headphones on because I want to listen to music. Like,
sound like me.
It helps me get through the day if I can put my headphone on and listen to music and do my work, and that's fine with me. But with this group of people, they interacted all 8 hours of the day with each other. Exactly. They could work and turn around and talk for 10 minutes and then turn back around and work and then turn back. And to me, I'm like, yeah, we're here to work though. Like, I'm not really that concerned about what your granddaughter's doing or what you're going to do this weekend, or, what country house you're going to for your vacation. That's not, I don't really engage in those type of conversations. And because I didn't engage, it pushed me further and further out of the circle. Yeah. And I had to leave it. And it really kind of sucks because I hate to say it, but I feel like if I was white, it might not have been such a big deal. And because I was doing it, it came off as I had an attitude, and that became more of a threat to everyone. And even to the black man that was in the office, he felt threatened by my attitude just because I wasn't talking to him or being really nice to him like all of the other women in the office. Then I must not have liked him. And he let it show. We had multiple, I hate to say it, but, arguments, which over something very small. I picked up something and it was mine, and I could have picked up his too, but I didn't. And I got my stuff and not his. And because that, he felt that I was being petty and that he could just yell and curse me out.
Oh,
And so
wow.
then it's either defend yourself and go ahead and cuss this motherfucker back out, because who the fuck is you talking to? Like, yeah, I'm on this professional job, but please don't play with me.
Right, yeah.
Or is it don't say anything and let him think that he's okay with
Right,
doing
that
this,
that's
and
okay.
that's going to be okay and doing it again.
Yeah.
And it's that
Weigh how you weigh that.
it's how do you weigh that in that
Yeah.
situation, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because after I cuss him out, all the other white people and everybody else in this office is going to look at me as the angry black woman.
Yes.
Of
He's
course,
been here
of
for
course.
15 years. They're already friends with him. They
Right.
know him. They know his kids. No one's going to be mad at him about the situation. It's me. I'm the newcomer.
Right.
So, you know, I was there for a year, and that year was
Oh,
too.
wow. That's
That
a
year
long
was too.
time to be in that situation. And I was going to ask, but you pretty much answered it already, that it was just you and one, that you did feel as if you were white, it would be okay, because they wouldn't feel threatened by, they would have just accepted that as your personality, because you didn't,
Right.
you don't owe that to anybody to walk into work and say, hey, my name is Anna, and I have social anxiety, so I may not be a chatterbox with you. So you don't owe that to anyone. But that perception of us is, if we're quiet, or we're not chit-chatting, or we're basically not entertaining the people around us, that we must have an attitude. We must be angry. It's very easy for us to be stuck with that stereotype, because that's how they want to see us. And
Or you think that you're too good for them. That's another
yes,
one.
yes. Well, I will tell you, I get that from the Black people. Once I actually, when I get on, because it sounds like you and I are a lot alike in certain ways. I won't necessarily say I have social anxiety, but when I'm at work, I'm at work. You know, we can cut up and act a fool a couple of minutes, or on lunch, before work, after work, whatever the case is. You know, I don't mind entertaining conversation, but I'll tell anybody, the thing with me, I'm nice, but I'm not friendly. So I won't come to you and start a conversation, because that's just not me to do that. But if you say something to me, I'm going to always respect you until you give me a reason not to. So, you know, it's, you know, I walk in, I'll say good morning. You either choose to say it back or you don't. But, you know, I had a similar situation myself, and I've always worked in a atmosphere where I'm interacting with customers. So you're constantly around people and interacting with people, and so that's why I say I don't feel as if it's social anxiety on my part, but I know I do suffer with PTSD, and I do have panic attacks, and I do sometimes get a little riled up. You know, sometimes there might be a little bit of moments where I'm a little bit uncomfortable and I have to walk off. So, you know, that does happen. And this happens if I'm in situations that I don't care to be in. And it's not like I don't want to be at work, but I may not want to hear the things that's going on. So I keep my earbuds in. You know, if you ask me a question in regards to work, I'm going to answer you. If I have a question in regards to work, I'm going to ask. But, you know, it's been perceived that way, not by everybody. Now, when I first got into this office atmosphere, once some of the other Black women realized, like, oh, she can talk. She isn't an uppity nigger like we thought she was. They would tell me, like, oh, we thought you were bougie. What? Like, no, like I come to work to do my job. Like, it's like I come to work to work.
I'm not here to socialize. Like, I'm here to
exactly.
do this.
And it's like, if we make conversation, but that's not the priority for today. I want to get these people's job done because I want to check at the end of the week. So, but then I had a situation where, and this actually happened a while back, was my very, well, it's little things have happened throughout, you know, my entire job history. But I think like one of the most recent things was, in the beginning, this person even acknowledged that I was quiet. And I'm not quiet. It's just that I'm at work. Like, there's a difference. I'm not quiet. And I'm not shy. I'm sure as hell not bougie, but I'm at work. So once I got acclimated with what I was doing and I was comfortable, I saw, things that's being said and there's so many people around me. I used to work in a call center and it wasn't the best atmosphere for me. All these different noise and sounds. And when you are dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder, hearing noises and random shit is probably not always good. So, I have my headphones on at that place and I have these on here. But I can listen to music, YouTube, whatever the case is. So there's a huge difference. But, there was basically a complaint that this person wasn't comfortable with the fact that I was sitting 10 feet away from them and we can't hold a conversation. First off, I'm here to work. I'm not your form of entertainment.
Yeah,
and it's like, why is this a complaint? Why do you feel as if I haven't? And so then anything that I say, and I'll tell anybody, I probably don't, I may come off abrasive to some people that may not know me because I am a very to the point person. That's what used to really jack me up on my calls when I was at a call center because I didn't go through the whole fluff of, hey, how are you today? Oh my goodness. Well, that's a cute little red phone you got. I didn't do all that. It was like, what's wrong? Let's fix it. And that's the type of person who I am. You got a problem? Let's get on it. So when you ask me something, I'm not giving you all that fluff. That's it right there. Yes, no, that's just me. And anybody, once you get to know me, you'll realize that. But when there is a topic or something being discussed, if I want to participate in the conversation, I will. I'll laugh and I'll joke, but we're not that together. We are not that, and that's fine. But if I'm not disrespecting you, the idea that you would take my silence as a threat, I cannot understand why. I will not understand why. And what I actually noticed in this particular situation was there was another someone of a different skin tone that she would not necessarily rarely spoke, but if she spoke, it was just kind of out loud to herself. And I doubt that there was ever any complaints about her. And, and I'm never one to want to pull the race card, but I call it for what it is. And it's like, when it's happened in completely different atmospheres over and over and over again, you can't help but to feel as if, as a Black woman in a professional setting, you have to put on airs. I have to come in with a big ass smile on my face and bring some blueberry muffins and let everybody know I'm just having a great fucking dandy day. Because if I don't, then it's like, what's wrong? Are you okay?
Even in my previous job, it was like you could tell some people that genuinely care when they come to the door, okay, how's your day going? Whatever. And if you really have a rapport with that person, they can kind of tell right off rip, by your body language and everything, regardless of what you say, or if you don't say anything, okay, this person obviously doesn't really want to be bothered. I'll be in and out pretty quick. But then you have those people where, like you say, if I'm not entertaining, if I'm not, acting or in a, appeasing mood for you, because then I'll get people that come to the door. Well, what, are you okay? What's going on? I don't know. It just seems like it's like, what? I'm literally not doing anything. I'm literally just doing my job. And I've never worked where the job description said, gotta make friends, gotta come in and good morning to everybody, gotta, shuck and jive type of thing. Like, it's like, as long as I'm doing what the policy and procedures say, and it do not say to come in and, make friends, like no one, like, and see, I don't know.
It's almost because, like, with this particular situation of mine, my more recent situation was, I come in and just kind of out of this Southern hospitality, respect type thing that we have going on. You yes, sir, and no, ma'am, everybody, and you good morning and you goodbye, everybody. So it's just kind of like, not necessarily I don't mean it, but it's just kind of habit. This is how I was raised. So I'm going to walk into a room and you're there, I'm going to say good morning. But this is also how I was raised. And that's not to kiss anybody's ass. So if I walk into a room and I say to you, good morning, and it's met with no response, not even a glance over, or a nod or a smile or whatever, and you're entitled to that. you are most definitely entitled to that. I am not saying, because for me to feel as if you have to respond to that, then I have no argument on how you perceive me. So I don't feel as if you have to say anything, but I feel this is the tone that you've already set. This is what it is. And I'm fine with that, because more than likely I probably didn't want to tell your ass hi to begin with. So it's like, I'm fine with it, but it's kind of like almost, okay, I will talk to you on, I don't want to talk to you on Monday, but Tuesday I'll talk to you. And when you don't talk back to me on Tuesday or in the way that I want you to, just kind of like how you said with you put up not necessarily a front, but you try to be what you thought would be to fit into this position, because you don't want what you're dealing with personally to be perceived as an issue or a problem to someone else. So you do what you can to sort of kind of fit in, but you can only live a lie but so long. And if it's not in you to sit there and have chit chat, like you say, I don't want to hear about your grandchildren. I could really care less where you're going vacationing. I really don't care. And it's not in a negative sense, because, we have to watch every way that we say everything because of the way that it's looked at. But it's like, I could care less about these conversations also because I'm at work. This is not what I came to do. But, we put on that front for as long as we can. And then when we can't anymore, now it's a problem. And they don't, and I don't owe you that to walk in and say, hey, I don't need to hear all these different noises and sounds and people screaming and yelling and being negative I don't need to hear that because it's fucking with me. I don't owe you that, especially if I'm not doing anything to you. Now, if me hearing this and my response is to act out or say something or, be something that's going to be a disruption or whatever, then I think I owe it to you to say, hey, I need to have a conversation, let you know this is what's going on. But if I'm sitting here and I'm in silence, and I'm not bothering you, a Black woman's silence should never be taken as a threat. And it's sad that that is the world that we actually do live in. And it's even worse that this happens in a professional environment where we're just here to get a check. We just really want to get our money and go home. That's it.
I'm ready to, I'm leaving.
Clock in and out.
I'm just here till 5 to do the job, and that's it. Why I gotta be so much other stuff? Like, I'm here to do, these people want me to work. They told me to do this. They told me to come do this. And I did those things. And then at 5 o'clock, they said I could go home. I'm trying to go home.
This is what I'm going to do.
Now it's a problem. Now I'm the bad person.
Now you're the bad person. And it's so bad. And, I know we have stereotypes everywhere and with everyone. Now we've got the name Karen for these angry white women. But, we're still going to be the angry ones. But, now we're calling them Karens instead of calling them what they really are, which are just racist or just angry women, or maybe women that are suffering with some sort of social or mental health issue or anxiety or anything of that sort. But, let's give them a cutesy name and let's call them Karen. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that. I get it. I understand the humor behind it, and the one thing with us is that we do find because if I do say anything at work, or if I do interact, it's probably going to be me laughing or joking about something, because that is my comfort zone. That is where, the other sounds and sights that's happening around, I really can't give into those things. But if there's something, a lighthearted something or something that's funny, then those things I can participate in. And I feel like as an almost 45-year-old woman, I have a right to choose what I'm going to interact with. I shouldn't have to do it because now you're perceiving me to be a bitch. You're perceiving me to be to have an attitude or just to be angry when I'm legit not. Like, I'm not, like I tell anybody, you will never have the pleasure of seeing me being angry because I'm not that emotionally involved with you people to come out of character like that behind somebody. So it's like, it's almost it's a shame, not almost, but it is a shame that we first of all have to put on for anyone just so we're not looked at in a certain way. We should be able to understand and accept that this person just doesn't want to do this. This person is not comfortable with this. I'm not yelling at you. I'm not screaming at you. I'm not disrespecting you. I'm not doing any of these things. I'm just sitting here minding my business. And that should not be a problem. But, is that stigma that's attached to us as if we are just those people. So obviously, if we're not interacting or you can't see our teeth, then obviously something's wrong. And you're in fear of that something being wrong because we're just known as being angry people. And we're not that. I mean, we can be, but who can't? I mean, you know, that's true for anybody, you know, and I think, you know, for me, and I understand, I know you, Anna, just turned 25. You just had a birthday yourself. So happy birthday to you. We did not forget. We are just, we are full of birthdays this summer. And mine will be coming up here shortly as well. So you guys mark that on your calendar. That will be 8/8. But we have, I know we all have had, because Simone started working when or Katie started working when she was 16. So, you know, we all have had our fair share of experiences in the workplace. And I think the introvert, or just even your work ethic, even if you're not necessarily an introvert, it may just be your work ethic, or it may be something else that keeps you silent or not as vocal as the other people that's there. That unfortunately is just one of the things that we as African American women have to deal with in the workplace. You know, there's
that's what I was gonna say, like, when both because we had talked a little bit about it before we got on the recording, and I was like, I don't think that I would say that I'm an introvert. Like, I think that, you know, when I get around people and I'm comfortable and stuff, I'm a laugh, I'm a joke, you know, whatever, I'm jokey. But I do appreciate my alone time, and I do like giving myself. I'm definitely more of a homebody, and, you know, I value, I mean, even with me and Anna being inside here sometimes, and, you know, we need our own time. So, you know, it get like, so I don't think that I'm an introvert or whatever, but yeah, like you said just now, like, it might just be your work ethic. I'm here to work. Like, I'm doing anything that I do, I want to put, you know, my 110% in. And like I said, part of the job description I has seen, make friends and stand up here and, you know, laugh and, you know, joke and stuff with y'all. Like, it is, I'm here to do this.
So let me ask. So in the majority of the jobs that you ladies have held, because the one thing that I have noticed that we've all said is that this is kind of perceived as a negative, whether it's from women of color or whether it's from white women or Black people or white people, period. But then we also speak on, hey, I might not actually be introverted, but this is just my work ethic. Do you think that when we are hired and we're on a job that we have to put in more, that we have to give more as African American women than, say, our Caucasian coworkers? Like, is that why they're okay with cutting the fool and you know, not saying that they're running around and acting all crazy or whatever, which that's another story. But do you think that we feel that we're held to a different standard? So maybe that may be a part of why we come to work, and we are here just to work. And then at 5, I can be whoever it is that I want to be, whether it's an introvert or none of these words. But when I'm here, I have to put in this work. Do you think there's a difference there? Like, we know when we're on this job that this is what we got to give because they have no problem walking us out this front door?
I feel like with some of the jobs I've had, it's been like that, but not all of them. No, not all of them. It's like,
I don't think so. I feel like I said, I mean, for me, I'm not gonna do anything if I'm not gonna give my all. So that's just who I am. But I don't I don't think so. I think, because I mean, I've seen it both ways, where I've been on a job and, I mean, you know, a Black girl is not doing anything, you know, I mean, very, you know, like, I mean, come in the morning and the start of your shift, you probably came late and you say, I'm just letting y'all know today I'm not doing nothing, you know, it's like, and then don't do anything, you know, and I'm, you know, so I don't think so. No, I think that for me, it is just who I am. I mean, you know, it's
I've
more
always known, okay, if I'm coming to work, I'm coming to work.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna give it my all. I mean, that was kind of beat into me when I was younger. I mean,
you
do something right the first time. If you're not gonna give it 100%, like, don't do it. Don't do it if you're not gonna give it all. And I feel like that when I go into any job, I want to do a very good job. I want to make an impression. I want them to know that you can count on me. You know, it's not just
it's not for them.
It's not a kissing up thing. It's me. It's my morals. Because even outside of work, I'm the same way. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it 100%. So for me, that's just who I am. It doesn't.
Cause see, and I think the same thing as well. But just as well, I do see some of my Caucasian coworkers. I do see some of the things that they do that I know sure as hell I can't get away with. But I do agree that 110% of it is I come to work to get this paycheck, so I'm going to work for this check. You know, and I try to give 110% every day, because there may be some of those days that only 80% of me is going to show up. So for those days, I try to make sure that on the days that I have 110 to give, I'm giving that. But, you know, and that, so that's just the way that we've been raised. But, you know, I do admit that there are some things that, you know, I can hear or see. And I know that if I was to stand up and do these same things or say these same things, that I may not have a job. And that may be just the way that I perceive it, because maybe maybe I can be this person and still have a job at the end of the day, but I just won't dare try it because that's just my work ethic.
Yeah, to me, like, it's funny that you say that, because it's like I've seen people, you know, I think that everybody, you know, I will say put on a professional mask when you go into work, but I've worked with people that do not do that, and they are very much they are very much themselves at work, you know what I mean? To the point where it's like, why did you even show up? Like, seriously, why did you even come in today? You know? So
the ones that work in a customer service where you're a customer facing person, and you still come here and act any old type of way. Like, no, girl, what is you doing? White, black? I don't met them all races who will do that. And I'm like, you cannot be up here saying that. What are you doing?
Seriously.
Are you
now, let me ask
people, right?
Because I know that there's you know, I know you guys are only like 20 and 25 years old, so I know there's a huge age difference between all of us. But do you think that let's say my generation and you ladies' generation, do you guys think that we are not necessarily quicker to pull the race card, but kind of we see things with those glasses a little bit more than you guys do? Or is it kind of, because like there's scenarios that are like coming to my head to like ask, like there was one of my very first retail jobs, and I was promoted very quickly to an assistant manager, and I'd never had management or retail experience before, but I was also not given any responsibility. Like pretty much I was just, if I wanted to just stand there in the middle of that department, I would probably still be standing there 21 years later. So I just didn't know. I didn't hear you.
I said, were you the affirmative action? Is that what that was?
That's what I kind of felt like. And then because it was even a shock when I asked for responsibility, when I asked for things to do. But it was kind of like, that's kind of how I saw it. You know, of course, they didn't say, oh, we're going to give you this position because we need a Black person or we need a Black female or female period in upper management. But, you know, I was given this position, and I will say I feel like it was unwarranted. It's like, you know, because I was probably there maybe a few weeks, maybe about 5 or 6 weeks. And next thing you know, I'm your manager. But I wasn't given any responsibility, no schedule. I didn't even know how to ring a register. I didn't have a key to open it. It was just basically like, we're going to give you this title, but you know what? Just stand in the middle of this floor and look cute until your 8 hours are up.
Yeah, I can believe that, because some companies, they get extra tax credits just for diversity, just for having people. I know for a fact that companies get more money for hiring me because I'm a veteran. They get an extra tax credit for that.
That's true. You're absolutely correct.
If you're hiring minorities, if you're hiring single mothers, I'm sure that there's little incentives for that. Oh, and you made a Black person a manager? Okay, diversity. This is something the company can shine on. We can say that we have done these things, that we are not racist company. We're leaving that stuff in the past.
Yeah,
it's funny you say that, because I used to work at a jewelry store, and it was, it's a family-owned jewelry store. They were Russian.
They were
And
Russians.
before I worked at the jewelry store, I was working at a dry cleaners, and the way I got at the jewelry store was one of the customers basically came in. I was kind of getting, I guess I was at a place with the dry cleaners, maybe anyway, but one of the customers came in, and he hadn't even been there, a customer, very long, and he came, pretty much as we were closing every night. But he ended up asking, like, every time I come in here, your customer service is, impeccable, la-di-da, like, I work right over wherever. If you need a job, this is where we're at, or whatever. So he basically had, offered me that position. I didn't even know where the store was at. So that guy, me and him had a really good rapport. Everything was cool. He ended up leaving. And so then the owner and the owner's son came in. Now, I do have sales experience, and, I am good at customer service. And I mean, it's a jewelry store. So, but they would not let me sell. They would stay in the back. And
wow.
they would stay in the back, and I would be in the front. And when the notification that someone came through the door, your little bell or whatever went off, is when they would spring into action. It's like I couldn't, I could pull out whatever I wanted to pull out, but they were not going to let me sell a piece. Like, it was crazy.
Oh,
and
wow.
the only real interactions were, literally the mom would ask me, like, she act like I was like the spokesperson for Black people, because it was always, why do Black people do this, or why do Black people do that? It was always, to the point where she was trying to help me with my natural hair, with my Bantu knots and all kind of stuff. The guy, the son, was there. All he would used to ask me really was like, have you seen this video on YouTube? You seen this video on YouTube? Or, well, what should I get from Starbucks? What should I have for lunch today? It's like, literally, I learned on my own, and I learned from the guy who had initially told me about the position. I learned from him, taught me, but they would not let me sell. Like, they would not let me sell anything. It's like I really was just there to be the Black cute face at the front.
The Black person. Yeah. Wow. Now, see, I had a little bit of like what you said, where I despise when I'm in a situation with Caucasian people, and they act as if Black people just came out. Like, they have never seen one of us, and they want, first of all, if I'm not paying you or asked you to do my hair, nobody can touch it. I don't care if you're Black, if you're white, if we're related, if you're a complete stranger. If I did not request you to be in my hair to make a style, don't ask me to touch my hair. I did not ask you to touch your hair. I did not ask to touch your nose, your ears, anything about you. So weird. I think that's
weird.
That's so, yeah. Like, how ignorant of a question is that?
Are you
like, it's exactly like, yeah, like, it's so, and I had a little bit of that. It was kind of like, in this huge store, this store is as big as a freaking warehouse. This store is humongous. I was the only Black person there, and this could probably be for days at a time, because we probably didn't even really have Black customers. I think the armor truck guy may have been Black, and like, he would walk through the door, we would be like, hey, look at you, like, it would be that whole look, like, boy, look, I'm still here. But there were like no other people of color, nobody else. So there would always be those times of standing in the middle of the floor, because I don't have shit to do about standing here and be Black. So they would ask, oh, can I touch your hair? Oh my God, how did you get it like that? Oh, I even had one girl to ask if, like, she held her hand out and she wanted to see if the palm of my hands were white or if they were going to be brown. Oh. And I remember wanting to make a fist with that hand because I was like,
what?
Wow.
Yeah, it was like, did she really just ask that? Like, have you never seen a person of color? And I remember just walking off, because I know my response was not going to be good. And it's not, it wasn't just it wasn't just their response or their, their reaction. It was where it seemed like it was so genuine. So I really feel as if they, it was, I know you had seen Black people before because I've seen them before. So I know you had seen Black people before, but I think with them being at work, it was a comfortable and controlled environment that they felt comfortable asking these questions. Passing us in Walmart or the grocery store, you're not going to stop. Well, some people do, but you're not normally going to stop and say, "Hey, can I touch your hair?" But now we're at work. You think you know me, whatever the case is. So now you're comfortable asking this, and it was weird as hell. And and then I had a district manager that I would be able to see her when she come prancing in, and she would come in and she's talking to all the girls while she's making her way back to me, and then she comes to me and she goes, "What's up, girlfriend?" And she wants to high five and all, and I'm looking at her like, you did absolutely none of this for these white people that you just walked past. Then you come to the one Black person in the store and you're ready to break dance. Like, I feel some type of way about this. Like, it's like she won a battle. Like, she won a dance battle right now. Like, it was so weird. She would want to give me a high five, and it was always like the neck popping and, "What's up, girl? Hey, girl, what's going on, girlfriend?" Like, is she serious right now? And see, to me, I always find things like this to be ignorant as shit. I'm going to be honest. It has to be the most, like, you just have to be the dumbest somebody to me for you to think that there's such a huge difference between you and I because of the color of my skin. And it just blows my mind.
I would say that there is, but I would say that probably not on the levels that they're thinking, but I would say that there is. But I also think that there's a time and a place. And again, this is not something that you should be doing at work. You know what I mean? It's like, if you was doing your job, you wouldn't be standing up there rolling your neck and pop locking and dropping the cup about
and I mean, I know that, normal, like, I don't think that there's a huge difference in, I always say I don't think that there's a difference with color. I think it's more culture. Because
definitely didn't mean color now. I just mean, like, from
because there's white girls and boys that I grew up with that probably just as hood as what the hell I'll ever be, but they probably grew up on a damn Macon, or they grew up on Ferndale, or one of these other areas where they were surrounded mainly by people of color, or they experienced a lot of what the majority of people of color went through. So this is now who they are, who they were growing up. And that's understandable, but stop acting. I mean, like, hell, y'all know Black people here because y'all motherfuckers came and picked us up. So we here. So stop acting like you're so surprised when you see us.
So you had asked before if we thought that, I'm not going to say the older generation, but the generation before
you.
Right.
Yes.
Might have seen racism and things that maybe we don't. Maybe,
yes.
Or even right off that. So I'm not gonna say that, okay, y'all played a race card too quick or whatever, but I do think that obviously, there are things that y'all know or probably pick up on quicker, because I remember being in Winn-Dixie with my grandmama and it was always a thing to her that the way they would drop the money in her hand. And I had that. It's like, for one, I'm a kid, so I'm not looking at that. I'm looking to see if she gonna say that I can get the cookies and cream turkey, for one. But it's like, when she, Granny don't care. She gonna tell you. So it's like, I got that very real experience, real conversation with, and Granny will give an attitude right there too. Like, she will cut her eye.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That little thing is a firecracker.
She's disgusted that you did that, but it's like, they'd have to point it out to me, and even at that, like I say, at that age, I didn't see that. But then when it started happening to you, like when I was working at the dry cleaners and people would, toss their money on the counter or slide their card, or, it's like, but then when I do it to you, and it's like, I was always not scared, but I was always like, I'm working, so I'm not going to be unprofessional like that.
You're not going to react to it. Yeah.
No, and do it back to you, because there was a
Yeah.
couple times I had react because it just be so okay. Like now your penny's on the floor and stuff, and I gotta get this stuff off the floor. It's like it's ridiculous, you know. Like you need to know. So I'm a huff and a puff. But there was a time at the dry cleaners for a few customers where if they did toss their stuff or threw it at whatever, when I handed them their receipt, I would do it the same way. Or if I gave it back, I would do it the same way, and I would see what their reaction would be. Because to me, don't dish it out if you can't take it. If it's okay for you to toss some stuff at me, like I don't even like when me and Anna first got together and she would throw the lighter or something at me, like please don't throw anything at me, you know.
She ain't like you doing that because she can't catch. That's what really.
She has always been affectionately known as the clumsy one. So trust me, I understand.
And I don't need to know how to catch because I'm not no dog. So like I said, you're not throwing nothing at me. But you would see the difference in their face when it's done to them. So it's like, okay,
Yes.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
And I think too is also the shock of, because you know the generations are completely different. And you know they're like, you know, I think with Granny, that may have been because between her and Yvonne, you know, and those are the two that I have probably the most experience with, especially with Yvonne. Oh my goodness, I remember so many times Yvonne would come to the school and she did not care. You know, she was truly one that was going to stand up for herself. And it's always been hard for me to see her in any other light. So I always wondered if, because of the way that they were raised, because there were times when we were growing up and we would be told, like, you know, be quiet, you know, those white people coming, you know, whether we're in a store or something like that, if they thought we were being too loud or whatever the case is. And I remember not liking that. So I don't know if they were, you know, I can only assume that they were giving us what was given to them. So maybe kind of as they got older, it was kind of like enough of this shit. So it was like, you know, you demanding that respect back, because that look, I think most of them were probably shocked at the fact that, oh shit, she actually did this back to me. It may not even be shocked because you're a Black woman and you did it. It could be shocked because you're at work and you did it, like, or it could be a combination of both.
And that's
but
what
it's
took me so long to even try that. Like, because I mean, I would say to people, you know, dang man, like, you know, other females I work with or whatever, be like, dang, like I can't stand when they throw stuff, or you know, whatever. Like, yeah, now I gotta walk over here because you done throw the pin on the dang on ground, you know, whatever, being, you know, just whatever.
extra.
Yeah, extra dang on dumb. But you know, one lady did tell me, just start doing it back. Give it to them how they give it to you. And it's like it took me a long time to work to really do it. Because
work up that nerve to do it.
Yeah, because for one, that's unprofessional. It's so unlike me to even, why would I toss something at a customer?
And not even unprofessional, like you're not a rude person, you're not a nasty person by nature. So it's like, even though you did this to me, for me to return this favor to you is weird.
Yeah.
Like, but I, you know, because I remember I used to well, I can say it because they're no longer in business there, but I used to work at Timberland at the outlet. And yeah, people would want to do that. They would want to drop the money on the counter, or they would sit it right in front of them. And you have to understand, I was the sales manager there, so I was rarely on a register. So there were times, because this is not who I am. So when I see you do this, or you know, you're doing something out of what I feel is the ordinary for you to be a customer, like, you know, dropping the money. I'm thinking, okay, so maybe this is what they do. Because in all the, you know, especially around that time, I've always been in a position of management. So I've never actually had to be at a register. So I didn't really know, like, okay, maybe this is what they do. But then when I start realizing the me going to hand it back to them, and I think that was kind of like that wake up call for me, was that day when the guy pretty much said it like right in front of him. And I had to reach for it. And again, nothing, no red flags or anything is going off, because this is not what I normally do. Yeah, it was weird, because I know if I was on the other side of the counter, the money still wouldn't practically be in my pocket and I would make the cashier come get it. But, you know, I give him this, you know, go to give him his change back. And he literally picked the dollars up and left the change there, but he kind of like picked it up with his, and then that's when it hit me, like, oh shit, like he just really did, like, what the hell? And you know, it kind of makes you check yourself, like physically check yourself, like what, like, is there something wrong with me? Like, what's going on? And then I start to see it more, and I think it is more prevalent down here in the South. I'm not saying it doesn't happen anywhere else, but I think people are probably a little bit more comfortable with it here in the South, because it's more widely accepted here. You know, we're more hush about it. You know, we don't want to rock the boat. And you know, and of course, you know, because I know so many Black people are going to hear this and say, oh no, because but that's not always the case, because we already know when the cops come, we're the bad guys. Like we already know that. So anytime that we can, because you know, you don't have to show up to every fucking battle. You don't have, so you know, sometimes you do shit, I'm gonna let that slide because I'm just not even in the mood today. I already know the tension that's mounting and everything that's going on. You know what? I'm not even gonna go down this road. I'm gonna laugh at you because you're a fucking asshole, and then I'm gonna move on with my day. But
always tell me never argue with a fool.
Yes, you're not going to win. You are not going to win.
And
never.
I've been having to remember that a lot lately, looking at everything going on, looking at Facebook posts and looking at the comments. Ooh. And to me, I guess it's not shocking and surprising, but it's like, wow, a lot of white people really believe that there's no racism in America.
Yes.
Like, they say it. They're like, you guys are crazy. Yes. America is not racist. America is not racist. And it's like, how can you say that? Look at the things that are going on around you. You know, and people want to say, you know, all lives matter. And it's like, you're right. But Black lives are the ones that are being threatened. And you were it's not. And I'm like, maybe it's just because they're so sheltered. They just never even been around it. They've never had it put in their faces. The things that have happened have been between other white people, and so it's okay to say the N-word. These are just my friends. It's no big deal. But it is alive and well in America.
Yes. And see, I always take it when I hear people say that, when I hear white people or even some Black people, oh my God, like with the whole after the murder of George Floyd and everything that has been happening with the protesting and the rioting, oh my God, like just such eye opener, whether it was Black people or white people. And the one thing that I'm not that person where I feel like because we're all Black, we all have to be on the same page. Of course not. We're all going to have difference of opinions. We're all going to see things differently. But I am always in shock when I see a Black person that does not feel racism exists. Because see, for a white person, I think that's just their way out of not having to deal with it. Right. It's like, you know, I don't have to, you know, it's not me, you know, I'm not Black. So I'll just say it's not happening. And then I'm gonna move on with my day. Like, where do you guys see racism? I don't. Okay, going on now. But when I see a Black person do that, it almost hurts. It almost fucking physically hurts. And it's like, I want to just shake them and say, do you not look at the news? Do you not look at TV? Do you not have any friends? Do you not have any Black family members? Like, how can you seriously sit here and say racism does not exist? I will never for the life of me understand that. And it's like, if the last few weeks of our lives has not been an eye opener, even if you began 2020 thinking racism doesn't exist, I will be damned if you can sit here on July 11th of 2020 and say racism does not exist. You are in some serious fucking denial if you feel racism does not exist. And I understand white people are killed by cops. I understand that. I understand there's Black on Black crime. I also understand that there's Hispanic on Hispanic crime. I understand there's white on white crime. I understand, because crime is crime. Like, so, and you know, they're always trying to change the narrative of what the focus should be. Exactly. And we are just wanting equality. That's it. We just want to be equal. We're not asking you for shit else. You know, we talk about the 40 acres and the mule, and that'll be nice. But it's like, understand where we're coming from. And like you mentioned earlier, you can't say Black Lives Matter without hearing even Black people. All lives matter too. We know that. We know that. It's like but this is what we're focusing on right now, because when you take that word all and you're saying all lives matter, does that not include Black people?
Right.
So what difference does it make if you're all for all lives matter? What the fuck difference does it make if I specify Black at this moment in time, because we're the ones that's being murdered like fucking dogs in the street? So why can't I not focus on this?
Executed in our homes and then expected to just, when no one's arrested and no charges are filed, they're expected for it to just get brushed under the rug. One guy,
yes,
we were talking on Facebook, and he went as far as to pull up search news articles that had the tag words Black, innocent, and something else. But he was pretty much trying to say, you're trying to say a lot of Black people are killed and they're innocent by police officers, and that's not true, because where are the articles from it? And it's like, exactly, it's not, it's happening, and it's not being reported, it's not being talked about, because we are doing it as it's not as important.
And the one thing,
I couldn't say anything else because I had made my point right then. I was like, they do happen. If it wasn't happening, we wouldn't have all of these pictures of Black faces that have been killed, and they were innocent. And you know, people are putting up these memes that say, well, if you just do what the police officer says, then you'll be fine. These women were asleep in her bed.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the bed.
Yes.
And I mean,
not doing anything wrong.
Sometimes you do exactly what they say, and you still fuck up.
The man who was trying to just get his wallet, like they asked him to.
Exactly.
You asked me. I watched another video where they had alarm went off at the guy's house. He called the alarm company, said it was a mistake. One of his roommates hit the button or something. The police still came and the door was cracked. So the guy is now upstairs. He's in his room. The police officer is yelling out something, but the Black guy didn't hear it. So once he does start hearing a commotion, sounds like somebody's moving around downstairs, he has his registered gun, comes downstairs, and is like, what are you doing? Who is that? The man says, okay, I'm a police officer. We got an alarm call. We're checking it out. Okay, well, I'm the owner, and I do have a gun in my hand. Well, okay, sir, put your gun down. He puts the gun down, and they proceed to put him in handcuffs. They didn't ask for his ID. They didn't ask, are you the homeowner? They didn't ask, did you talk to the alarm? They didn't. 15 minutes goes by before they actually get this man's ID and verify that he is the owner of the house and he has talked to the alarm company and everything is a mistake.
Wow. And see, this is my thing. To touch back on what you said, like your conversation with the person on Facebook. One thing that I was taught growing up is that we don't control the media. So when you have someone in that position that they can pretty much broadcast, whether it's on radio, TV, internet, whatever news it is that they choose, then that's what's going to happen. So you're not going to see a lot of those headlines, because so many times I'm on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and I will see people in the comments that say, hey, what about this shooting? This guy was just murdered by the cops down here in Houston, or, over here in Alabama, and we'll never hear about it. You will never hear about it because we're not in control of the media. So, and I learned that a long time ago when where I lived in North Charleston, and there would be a lot of crimes that were being committed by a few white area, and it was never in the paper. And that was when that conversation was given to me, and I was very young. It was like, we don't control the media, so we probably will not be seeing a lot of them and more of us. But innocent are guilty. Your job as a police officer is to arrest me. If there should be I don't care if you're guilty. If you see me if I'm walking out of the bank with the bag in my hand and a gun in my hand, or the bag in my hand, and your job is to arrest me. That's your job. Your job is not to kill me. That is not your job. This is not target practice. You're not hunting me. Your job as a police officer is to police officers exist because crime exists. So we have to stop making it seem, or we have to start trying to normalize the idea that because you're a criminal, whether you're running from the cop or you're robbing a store or you're doing what the fuck ever, does not mean that this should end in death. You have a job and your job is to arrest me. That's it. Your job is not to kill me. Yet you should not commit a crime. That in a perfect fucking world, you should not commit a crime, but it exists, and that's why these jobs right here exist as well. So you have a duty when you are called out to a call, when you get that 911 call or you get that dispatch call, and you have to come out and there's a armed robbery in progress, or suspicious mail or whatever. Your job is to arrest me. I am due my fucking day in court, not at a fucking funeral parlor. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference.
Officers who also are actually just racist and KKK members, and this is their job. So I'm gonna make sure I get rid of this black person. Oh, you might have been doing something wrong. I know that they're not gonna. The court ain't gonna see this. So let me go ahead and help this along.
And that's what I didn't understand, or what I don't understand. And I've looked this up a few times over the years as to the education that's required for cops. And I realize that it varies from state to state. And I don't get how you can be that young and become a police officer. For a simple fact, if I graduate high school, I'm still, I probably even have all my fucking wisdom teeth, but now I got a gun and a right to kill you. So I'm probably still dealing with, I haven't figured myself out quite yet. And maybe I was bullied in school a lot by, this black guy or this Asian guy or whatever the case is. Maybe one of these people broke my heart. And I'm still trying to process this. And I haven't, I got this high school diploma, and I go through this 6 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever, of training, but I still got this hate in my heart. I'm still dealing with, because I haven't really went through anything. What does it really take after I walk across this stage and I go through this boot camp or this training or whatever, and now I have a gun, and I still have this. I'm still practically not an adolescent, but I'm still a young adult, and I'm still processing shit. And I probably don't know how to deal with these feelings, because let's be real, how many of these kids are, high schoolers or whoever, come and they communicate with you about what they're feeling, especially when it's their emotions, especially when it's men. Who they're not communicating that. So now I'm pissed off because of, the black football star or whatever may have pushed me in the hall or some shit. And I could still be harboring this hate. I could still be walking around with this in my heart because I'm not made to go through anything and I understand they have like slight medical, training and all this stuff. I get all that. But what are you doing for these people mental? How are you making sure that before you arm somebody that could be, like you say, a KKK member? Like, what is that process? Because there is no way that you're telling me all these black people, regardless if they were innocent, guilty, whatever, because they never had their fucking day in court. They never had their day in court, so we'll never know. But there is no way that you can take in Dylan Roof from murdering 9 fucking people and stop this bitch to a fucking Burger King? You mean to tell me that's fucking possible? So when I'm looking at these situations, I'm looking at when you're bringing in white people that just shot up a fucking movie theater or a fucking school or daycare, or whatever fucking choice they have at that fucking time because they're mentally ill or whatever it is they're grasping a hold of at that fucking time. When you can bring them in and they can have their fucking day to court, my thing is, whoever arrested these people, they need to train the rest of these fuckers. Because if you can't be a black man and get stopped for fucking speeding and your life ends in fucking death, if you're telling me this is solely based off of what this one, how much fear are you in when someone is going in the opposite fucking direction of you? And how much fear are you in?
Fear. A lot of them fear. They scared. They not really cut out to be able to put their life on the line every day, like the job they signed.
They're not.
They did it.
They're not
badass, and now they out here, and it's this 250-pound black dude looking at them, and they don't know what else to do. But I do have a gun.
So, exactly. Exactly.
I feel threatened. They said if I feel threatened, and it's a flight or fight, I got a gun in my hand. I feel scared. Okay. And I mean, if you're that type of person, you don't need to be put in that type of situation. Why you sign up for this? Ain't nobody forced you to have that job. You signed up.
Nobody to exactly. And I feel like most of these people have a hidden agenda. You have that hate in your heart, even if you're not saying, oh, I want to become a police officer so I can kill as many Black people as I can. I don't feel as if that may be hell, that may be what the hell you're thinking. But I genuinely do not think that's your mentality at that time. But when you're given that sense of power and you feel like you have that authority over people, most recent incident with George Floyd, they said him and this guy freaking work together. You work together. So even if it's in a situation where, like, if you've worked with this man for weeks, months, years, at what point was this okay? You come out to a scene and I see Anna and I know Anna. Like, hey, Anna, what's going on? Like, I'm a police officer. I'm here to protect and serve. I also have to do some investigating and see what the hell's going on here. How the hell do I end up killing you? Someone who I worked with for years. There was no way that me as a man could talk to you as a man. Like, what? Like, where did this go wrong? Like, what really happened? Like, it should never. I understand cops being in fear for their life. You get dressed. I can never imagine being married to someone in the military or police officer or firefighter, because I don't know if you're coming back home. And I know if I'm feeling that way, I can only imagine what you're feeling. I can only imagine, because that's your life. And every call could be your last. So I get it. But that's even more reason that when you look across and you see somebody that you know, or you see somebody that's not threatening to you, that's more reason for you not to pull your fucking weapon. Because this is a guarantee that you might get your ass home tonight versus you looking down the barrel of somebody else's fucking gun. Now, I can understand that, but an unarmed man, you first of all left your house afraid that you may not come back home. So how does an unarmed man make you feel like, shit, I might not make it back home tonight? Why would you pull your gun? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It will never fucking make sense to me.
And I know this is kind of off topic, but I just want to say that if I see any of y'all and this police officer is on your neck, and you're saying you can't breathe, and I start seeing anything coming out of your mouth, I am flying, drop kicking that police officer upside his head. Even if I'm going to jail, at least you alive.
My thing is, and I think we all, because I agree with you 1,000%. I appreciate the recordings. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate those people that have the strength to stand there and record, but I can't do it. And I understand people saying, well, then it would just be 2 dead people. At least I tried. And if you do nothing else, you have a phone in your hand, call 911 again. Yeah. If y'all are saying that this police department is not racist, if you're saying that racism and this hate does not exist for Black people throughout this police department, then call another fucking police to come out. Because stop saying that these people are afraid to lose their job, because you should not be afraid to lose a job that is allowing your coworkers to kill some fucking body. So if I call another fucking officer to come up there and you stand there and watch this man get killed because you don't want to lose your job, you're just as wrong as what the hell he is. You just stood there and killed this man too. So I don't get it, but I can never stand there and see. I have never watched that George Floyd video, and I can't even watch fight videos. That's just me.
And it's awful. Don't watch it.
I can't. Just the fact that I read where they say this man was calling out for his mom, that shit broke my heart, because that is the worst thing for any mother. And then to find out that your mom is not even alive. The worst thing for any mom is to have her child call out for her and she can't help him. To know that your child is hurt or in pain or needs you and you cannot be there for them. That shit cuts you deeper than anything. And I've always told my children, that is my greatest fear, is for you to need me and I can't be there. And I can't even imagine being white, Black, purple, yellow, whatever, and that doesn't touch you. Like, how does that not move you? So when I see people making these comments and they making these posts on Facebook like we're nothing, Like we're absolutely fucking nothing because of the color of our skin. How? We bleed just like you do. How is my life any less valuable than what yours is? I will never for the life of me understand it. I will never understand how Elijah McClain doing absolutely fucking nothing. This guy played instruments for animals. How do you take that person away? For no reason, no questioning, no nothing.
Shot ketamine or something into his neck. And I was like, and when was that okay? What?
Yes.
Is this who? Was there a medical person there to say that this was going to be okay?
Thing. Yeah.
Or what happened?
Like, you don't even know this. Like, come on. Like, what? Like, how is this okay? And people don't understand the outrage. They did not understand the protesting and the riot, and they don't understand. It's like, how much fucking more are we supposed to stand here and take? How much more do you want me to take? How many times do we have to be in fear? My sister has been in Florida and Georgia for over 20 years now. And for the most part of those 20 years, when she calls me, my heart stops. Because I have 3 nephews. I have 3 black nephews, and I'm always fucking terrified that one of those fucking phone calls is going to be something about them. And it terrifies me. So I can't even imagine being the mother of these children. I can't imagine being the mother of a black man right now. Mm-hmm. It's like my heart skips a beat. So for her to see her son drive off, pull out of the driveway, and you don't know if he's going to come back. We should not have to live that way. That's not a way to live. And then you don't understand when you look up these definitions of mental health and post-traumatic stress disorder. Do you not think these black men are not mentally ill right now? Do you not think that these people, when you are seeing people, we are seeing our children are burying their fucking friends before they even get out of high school? Why does that even make sense? That they're not sick, they're being killed. It's like you should, that weight alone. It's like, what do you think the state of these men are? This is like so bigger than just black and fucking white. Literally, it's bigger than black and white. You know how this, I understand where this got started, but it's fucking 2020. It's 2020. Like, it is beyond time for a change, but as long as we still have black people and white people that's pretending like nothing's happening, we got to cut that shit the fuck out.
And then
you can't fix a problem that you're not admitting is there.
You got some white people who are, saying that, oh, we are doing changes. We took down these statues. We're taking away to Aunt Jemima. We're taking the plantations off of the names.
Listen,
the white actors aren't going to voice black characters anymore.
Oh my God.
Like,
and who asked them for this shit?
Change.
We asked you to arrest the murderers of Breonna Taylor and Elijah McClain and every other person of color or even not of color that has been murdered for no fucking reason other than the fact that you have a trigger fucking happy cop. That you have a cop that's too fucking afraid to do his due diligence when he walks through somebody's fucking door or when he pulls them over on the sidewalk, on the side of the road. This is what we're asking for. I don't give a damn who talks for Cleveland. I don't care.
Me neither.
Disney World is doing the same freaking thing. I could care less. That money that you're taking to revamp this entire ride, take that fucking money and invest it into something that's going to make a damn difference.
The other day, like I was like, all the stuff that they, all the time and stuff they putting into that, all the money they want to do, like how you said, to revamp the thing. You need to donate that. You need to go ahead and get some lawyers on some cases or something. You need to, like
some actual
yes
trainings for police officers before they come in. Some mental health checks. Some things that so we can screen out some people who might have grown up in a bad environment and might have some racist ideas against some people. Maybe we'll start him someplace else, or maybe we'll put him in some diversity training first. But they don't want to do those things. Everyone's saying, "Oh, defund the police, and it's like, we want the police defunded because they're not, the money we're putting towards them, they're not using it to make any of the communities better.
Exactly. You're not doing your fucking job. Like you're supposed to be here to protect and serve. And apparently they feel that only means them. I'm going to protect myself. And even though you don't have anything to hurt me with, I still feel I must shoot you.
Yes.
I must take your life right now. Yeah. And it's like it's this has been, and I know we've gotten not completely off topic, but we've kind of went. And this is a subject that I know the three of us have been trying to avoid because it is a very sensitive topic. It is something where I've been encouraging people, whether it's my own children or friends, or, every so often I try to do a pulse check on Facebook and ask people like, how y'all doing? Or try to change the topic about, everything that's going on, because we don't want this to be the norm for us. We don't want this, but we need change. And it's like, we can't let up right now. We really can't. We cannot let up. There's so much that's going on right now that is almost the perfect time for something to happen. Like things have got to change. And we're not talking about the person that talks for Cleveland. We could care less. We could truly care less. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't know how I would feel about somebody else talking for Cleveland. I don't give a damn about that, because that's not going to arrest any of these murdering officers. That's not going to do anything.
That's not the problem.
Like,
that's not the problem.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody talking about oh dang, all the white actors is taking all the voice jobs. That has never been the issue. That has never been the problem. Ain't nobody. And then y'all have been know that ride been racist. Y'all have been known.
Exactly. When you put it up, it was known to be a racist movie. Like
movie, so ain't nobody talking about. That's not killing people out in the street and then letting the murderers loose. That's not the problem. That's not the issue. So
it's not solving anything. And when we do look at the sugar that you're sprinkling on the shit here and expecting us to call it pie and be happy with this shit, it's insulting. Because I want to know how many people, if we were to walk into this building where these animations and these TV and movies and all this stuff is actually being created, who's on your team? Am I going to see anybody that looks like me without having to go to the bathroom and see the person that's cleaning it, or go down to the cafeteria and see someone that's serving the food? Like, are we there? Is our presence there? Because that's the biggest part for me. There are men that voice women characters. There's women that voice men's characters. Like, I could care less. I truly could care less. So that doesn't matter to me. But if you take a photo of your staff, how diverse is it? Because that's what matters, because those are the changes that we actually need to see, because that is where you're going to start respecting us, where you start to make us equal. We shouldn't even have to ask you. The simple fact that you created a Black character and said, let me get this white guy and hit the top, that right there was a fucking problem. So it's like,
well, this is my thing. What if, because I hear what you're saying about, making, take the picture. If you got a bunch of white faces, get some spice. But what if these are just the people that's qualified best for the job? Like, what if, I love that dude voice in Cleveland. What if he is just you had just said a second ago that you ain't gonna like nobody else doing the voice. You don't think nobody can do it as good as him. What if he was just the best qualified? But
this is if that's the case, then okay. Because I'm not ever going to say, okay, like I said, like, who isn't there a lady that talks for Bart Simpson or something? Yeah, so it's like, but it's also what we're used to. It's like, who else interviewed for this or auditioned for this? I should say, like, do we even know? But it's not that big of a deal now, because it's happening. It's already happened for years, and I'm saying I'm used to it. So it would be awkward to now hear someone else talking for Cleveland, and it's going to be a little weird. It's kind of like me telling my lover to love me, and now you're hugging me and kissing me. It's going to feel a little weird, because now we already had to ask for it. Or you feel we're asking for it, so it feels a little weird. But my thing is, when you were auditioning for this voice actor, were Black people even a consideration? Like this white guy may have been the best option, But was there ever a black option? Because I'm pretty damn sure there's some black voice actors out there.
I guess like I said, my thing was that's not making headlines that, oh, white voiceover jobs are being, taken over by white actors. It's like, we're not hearing about that. We hearing about, people kneeling on necks and killing people and stuff. So that's why I'm saying, to me, that stuff ain't as important, taking down
it's not
taking down flags. It's like, that's not what's hurting people. That's not what the core issue is here. Y'all trying to, like you say, sprinkle, the sugar on the BS and keep it pushing. Like, then like you said, it's insulting. So yeah, I don't care that much about the voiceover thing or whatever, or the ride thing or nothing like that. I mean, people still gonna have their racist thoughts and do their stuff how they gonna do anyway. My thing is, yeah, do not think that it's okay to kill people in the street though, and then again not prosecute they're straight up just murderers. Like that's my big thing.
That, yeah, and I think we definitely all can agree on that. And it's, I understand, or I try to be an understanding person, so I understand the attempt that you're trying to make. I'm pretty sure, and not picking on this Cleveland voice actor, but hey, we're already talking about it. I'm pretty sure he didn't just wake up one morning and said, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give up my job. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not how that went. It was to appease us. And then everybody else started catching on. And then you started saying, oops, you know what? We're going to pull all these racially insensitive TV shows just as well. You black guys, you saw what we did. And then you go on Netflix and you see, black stories, black movies. It's like, yeah, none of this is what we asked for.
And black stories, you don't think there's a different name that they could have called it? Or is it just me? Because when
it's insulting. If it's Black History Month, which that's a completely different conversation, but if it's Black History Month and you are doing this solely because it's Black History Month and you're highlighting this just like Christmas comes and you do the Christmas movies, I get that. But people are being murdered, right? And your response is to say, we're going to give you guys a category. As soon as you click on that icon, bam, black movies, black stories.
But that's insulting. As soon as, okay, we got this black list of stuff for y'all, so y'all come over here, spend your money with us.
Exactly. It's like it's like these and I can't even say the effort is there, because all these companies are multi-million, billion-dollar companies, whatever. Yeah, sure, it doesn't cost you anything to put all these black movies, have all the Eddie Murphy movies and put them in a one can. Yeah, it's not costing you much of anything to do that. I get that. But the change that needs to occur. Exactly. The change that needs to occur. And categorizing these fucking movies is not going to make a difference.
And there's no police decided to name them black stories.
Black stories.
I'm sorry. That just, to me, just stands
black stories and black movies. Yeah.
Taking away the movies and the racial movies and taking away the plantation name off the signs and stuff like that. To me, that is just another sweeping something under the rug, because if you don't learn about something, some people still don't believe don't believe at all that the Holocaust is real. So to me, it's like you're trying to bury or erase the fact that y'all even did this, so then there's no history of it. It's like I don't think that there needs to be no history of it at all. It definitely needs to be, just like how it's being voiced now, and it's been going on, but now it's recorded kind of thing or whatever. But I think that taking away all that stuff, the statues and the signs and everything, I think that's just another kind of, a cop out, like a sweep under the rug. Okay.
Well, this is my thing, because I am a why type of person. Why was it okay to begin with? And I get it's because
that's what I'm saying. So then when we take it was okay, and then now it's not. So we gonna take it away, and it's not ever gonna be a thing because we not at no fault. It's gone now, so people won't even remember that it was ever there.
They've taken down all the statues, but the whole market that's downtown where they used to sell slaves is still just booming. So
yes,
it's like, okay,
and it's so insulting, and I get it because in my private life, and I don't share it a lot because the one thing, we kind of categorize Black people that are more focused on the change or being woke or whatever term we want to now call it. But I do a lot of digging and researching and trying to understand this thing myself. So it's like when I see I get it. I not get it like accepting it, but I get the whole we were slaves or whatever the case is. So I get through generation after generation, you guys are looking at us this way, and this is who we are to you guys. And, so, and I will never fully understand it. I will never get it. I will never get it. But I just, for the life of me, I cannot understand how taking someone's life is okay because of the color of their skin. I can't understand how a white supremacist at that time, you thought it was okay. This person was known for hanging Black people, and you thought, let's get a statue and honor him. Like like even just a few weeks ago, we had a customer that came in, and he had what he thought to be a slave tag, and he was so excited, and he laughed at it as he told another Caucasian employee about it. And it was like I had to check myself, because it was like, this is where we are. Like he was so excited, and it was not even an excitement like we find it and this is a part of our history, but it was almost comical to him. And it's like, how dare you look at us like that? How dare do you have this such disrespect and disregard for us as human beings, that you feel our effort in this fight is going to be to categorize these movies? So we're going to take down these we're going to take down these statues that we should never put up to begin with. Sorry, we were honoring these people that were killing your ancestors. We're sorry about that, but let's go ahead and take them down now.
Those are their heroes. You got to understand, that's part of their culture. But I'm a swerve it a little bit, if that's okay.
That's fine with me.
All right. So what you think about, I don't know if you've seen, but Anna has shown me like a little picture or whatever that they had on Facebook about a trailer of a movie coming out called Cracker, where
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so apparently the roles are reversed with the slaves and the slave masters.
Oh, is this where they were showing the two white guys with the whip scars and all that stuff on their backs?
Sure. I don't know, because like I said, it was just a trailer thing. It was just a like preview of like the picture or whatever, and it just had it said Cracker, and it had the
tagline was like, "You raped our daughters, and now look at what we're gonna do to yours," or something like that.
Oh wow!
There was a white lady who had commented on it, saying how she thought it was sick and evil, and how could anything be that we could allow this movie to even come out.
Oh wow! So God forbid that our lives are depicted as a movie. It's like this was reality for us.
Yeah, and she was just like, "This is disgusting. No one wants to see this. This is,
Oh wow!
And they're just trying to drive a wedge between us." And it's like, what? No, this. There are movies out right now that still depict slaves and stuff. So
yes,
just because we're doing a role reversal now, you think it's a problem.
Now it's a problem.
It's like, well, I mean,
it amazes me that someone would even have the audacity to feel like that this movie is so such a disgrace. And how can you, when this is really just, like you said, the role reversal of people's real lives?
Exactly.
Like,
I was gonna ask you what you thought about that.
I think it's of course you already know I don't condone any sort of violence or anything like that of any sort, but I think it's something like, for that person that actually commented, maybe if you watch this movie, maybe the next time that racism is, or even before racism is even brought up, you would feel the need to take a stand. You would feel the need, because that's hope that your disgust and you just being in awe at this movie being made, like you're just floored behind this, is just the fact that one human being would treat the other like this, and not that it's black people doing it to white people. Because I'm wondering if your disgust comes from, is now that it's black people doing it to white people, or is it just because you feel as if human beings shouldn't be treated this way, period?
So you feel as it could be a like a teaching or learning tool?
I think it could be. I think it could.
I agree. I think it could be a learning tool, because I think sometimes people have to take a walk in your shoes. And I think sometimes if for in this particular situation, if you have a white person that sits and they watch this, and they have to now identify themselves as these people, maybe they could not, sympathize and empathize, knowing that this is something that our ancestors actually went through. But I would hope that this movie, what I would want of this movie anyway, I haven't seen the trailer, I have absolutely no idea what y'all are talking about, but I would hope that it would show pretty much the timeline. Because, a lot of what I see with white people and black people is that they will say that was the past, get over it. So I would hope that in this movie that it would depict everything from slavery up until now, up until 2020. Like,
when people say that, oh, it's the past, it's like, I have been racially profiled recently.
Yes.
So it's not the past. Yeah, there is stuff that has happened in the past, but we're still dealing with it today is the issue. So what you're saying is, we're not slaves anymore, but trust, there's still racial injustice going on against us.
Yeah. And it's just and it's not slavery any longer in the sense of us being out on the plantation anymore, but it still exists. It still exists when you're denied for that business loan, because you're not going to tell me that's not happening because of who we are. I think it's kind of to keep that you got to keep that workforce going. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying this just because I'm a black woman, but we some dope ass motherfuckers. And I'm telling you right now, if we were to gather our shit and leave America, these fuckers are in trouble. And we can.
Like, we and Anna being here and the talks get deep, and I always say that, like, I mean, what would they do? I feel like the United States of A would crumble.
Yeah. We have given so much. Can you imagine if every time that we had a banging ass idea, dope ass idea, some innovative shit that was going on in our heads, and we walked into a bank and we said, bam, this is what I got. I need this. And I'm going to bring you that back, bring you twice that amount back. And that banker agreed, and we went out and we built our own shit, and we weren't running the McDonald's and cleaning the Walmarts and doing all. And don't get me wrong, everybody has a place in the world. So I'm not saying that we all are supposed to be, these great this and that. I understand that these are jobs that still have to be done, but just for the sake of this argument, if every person of color that had the initiative and the idea and the innovativeness to go out and say, I'm going to create this company, or I'm going to create this product, and we were actually given this regardless of the color of our skin, this freaking country would crumble. This country would freaking crumble, especially if we were to get our asses away from this place. Then what would happen? So yeah, when I hear of us being profiled and are people feeling like we're not. That's a lie. You know, and I'm going through a situation, you know, and the whole
and the car accident we just had. Me and Katie just had recently. And this guy rear-ended me. He rear-ended us. And the police officer found me at fault.
And being rear-ended.
And I was rear-ended. So I was like, how? And he said, well, the scratches on your car indicate that you did that. And I was like, oh, no. See, those scratches that you're looking at are from something else. It had absolutely nothing to do with this. You can tell that these scratches are even old. That's not from him. This back here, this is where he hit me. And you can tell that I was hit right here. This is where it happened. It didn't have anything to do with those scratches. Well, he says that you were merging over. And I was like, no, I had already been in this lane. He tried to merge over. No, that's not what happened. And I asked, okay, since you're finding me at fault and you're saying that I was the one doing something illegal, why aren't you giving me a ticket? He had no answer for that. He had no answer for that. He went back to the guy, they key talked. We went on about
of course.
And the insurance company sided with me because I said, that's ridiculous. How could he even find you at fault for an accident that happened where you were rear-ended and that's what the collision shows, and then not write you a ticket?
Wow.
That doesn't make sense.
And that's because I even remembered the conversation when I spoke to Simone, and that I remember it making me angry that she immediately felt like y'all were going to be blamed because the person that hit y'all was white. And that anger, yes,
it's a wrap.
And that's horrible. It's you know, and I don't even know how old Marcus is now. Marcus is well in his 30s, and I know he probably was in his teens at this time, but he and Rhonda were here for a visit, and we went to the McDonald's on Ashley Phosphate one morning, and this white guy, was basically mad because she didn't let him in front of her at the drive-thru. And so he jumps out of his car, and, you know, it's up to me, Rhonda, and Marcus. So it's like, what the hell? Like, this man is like literally trying to run up on the side of the car. And we're out of the car, and the employees, they see this on the video. So that, you know, they call the cops come out. There's this huge ass white guy, and then he spits at us. And the cops immediately go, and are you okay, sir? Are you, like, you see, you with your own eyes, you see this man spitting at us. And the crazy part about this is this man's, his courage went through the roof when he saw the cops. It was like he charged at us, like he felt like backup was here for him. They made sure that this white guy was okay, and they turned to us, 2 females and a child, and they say, if you don't put your phones away, we'll lock you up. If you don't shut up, we'll lock you. Everything was, they were going to lock us up. But they want to make sure that this white man who you see come charging at us and spitting towards us, you want to make sure that he's okay. They even went as far as to, now once they viewed the video and they saw what happened, then all of a sudden nobody's at fault, nobody is wrong. They just want us to be able to, you know, tensions are high this morning. There's a lot of stuff going on. Like it was just straight bullshit. Just straight bullshit, but that's what we expect in the South. And, you know, and I'm currently dealing with a situation now where an incorrect text message was sent by my property manager. And in an effort to resolve this issue, I returned the call to you to make you aware that you were incorrect. Realizing that I was correct and she wasn't infuriated her. I was not asking for an apology. I was not asking for her to admit that she was wrong. I was just asking for this issue to be over and done with. What did she do? She started to hang up on me. You're at work and you're hanging up on me because you just don't want to admit that you're wrong. You don't want to resolve this issue because at the end of the resolution is going to be you having to say, I was incorrect. You're right. And she refused to do that. 2 minutes later, I get a call from North Charleston Police Department. Why? I'm on my fucking job. Why are you calling me? You're calling me because this woman called the cops and said she wanted me to stop calling who I'm paying rent to. You're giving me an incorrect amount, an amount that didn't even exist on my account. And I'm trying to resolve this issue, but because you don't want to admit that you're wrong, you call the cops. Like, how the fuck is that? And I asked him, is this normal? How many calls a day do you get from an employee who just doesn't want to do their job? And he laughed. He thought it was funny. It's not funny to me. So I filed a complaint. So once this complaint is filed, then now everyone's asking the question of, why the fuck did you call the cops on a tenant? So you know what their response was? We were threatened. We were in fear of our lives. She was belligerent on the phone. Her behavior, we were visibly shaken, and we had to call the cops so they could walk us to our car. When? I was at work, on camera, and on the clock. But apparently I put so much fear in you asking you to send me an electronic ledger is what put fear in you that you had to call the cops. Now, God forbid that I was actually at home and I decided that I was going to go across the street and actually have a conversation with these people, or maybe view this electronic ledger myself. God forbid I said that and you had actually called the cops and I'm over there. And these people come guns drawn because you just said there's this crazy ass black woman that's coming to basically beat y'all ass. All because you don't want to answer a freaking question. Because you know at the end, the answer to this question is you admitting that you were wrong. So now you're in fear for your life. Like, this is America. This is where we live. This is the shit that we have to deal with. And racism exists in so many shapes and so many freaking forms that it is hard to, that's why it angers me when you now want to change Splash Mountain. When Splash Mountain should have never fucking went up. Right. It's like that's what angers me, because it's like, that is too little, too fucking late. When you can't even have a conversation, when a white property manager feels she can call the cops on me because she doesn't want to answer a question. That's why your Splash Mountain doesn't mean shit to me. Because what the fuck is that going to do? What is that going to do? Is she now going to say, oh, you know what? Let me not call the cops because they do have that black girl down there at the Disney World now. Like, no, that's not going to change a fucking thing. No. That's not going to change anything. So the racial profiling, and we do it to one another too. We do it to one another, and that's the worst fucking thing for me. And not necessarily black cops, but we do it to one another. We stereotype one another. We prejudge one another. And it's not an excuse for them to do it, because we do it because, hell, we might know somebody like us that do that.
I might actually know that. So.
Exactly. It's like, I probably know Junebug is going to do this.
I know he so.
Exactly. So it's not an excuse. I'm not one of those. And I will never be that person that says, oh, well, before they stop killing us, we got to stop. Shut the fuck up. Is what I really want to say every time I hear the most ignorant shit. We have to stop killing one another before they stop killing us. Does that even make sense to you? Like, how do you even form your mouth? Flip open your phone, laptop, anything to even make a status that says something as ignorant and stupid as that? Because they've been fucking killing us and we weren't killing each other. So come the fuck on, let's be serious. Mm-hmm. And what you do down here on the Macon or Ferndale or North Charleston or Somerville and Dorchester, that has absolutely fucking nothing to do with when this cop stops this man on Remont Road and fucking kills him. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. So it's like you sit here and you're still being brainwashed. You're still letting these people control the narrative. You're still letting these people tell you what to think and feel and deflect from what the real fucking problem is, which is that they do not respect you because of the color of your skin. You're not shit to them. Somebody will get more fucking time for killing a dog than they do you. That's right. And that does not infuriate you. That does not make you mad. You will really take the platform that you do have to say, you know what? We should stop killing each other first, then they'll stop. Then they'll stop killing us. Yeah, that's how this is going to work. No. We have to stand the fucking together, black, white, every fucking body. I mean, when this whole George Floyd situation occurred and you started seeing people in different countries coming together, that's when you knew that it's time for a change. I have never seen such an impact on our world as a whole with this incident. 2020 has truly been a year. with everything with COVID and everything else that's going on, to see these people moved and touched by everything it is that we're actually.
I'm pretty sure we have all seen and heard of all of them. All the changes that are being made in the entertainment industry, where white voice actors that are currently reading for black characters are now stepping aside so a black voice actor can actually have that role. There are the TV shows that are pulling any and all racially insensitive movies or episodes from their lineup. And the best one, my favorite, is actually all the streaming apps, Netflix, Hulu, all these guys that are highlighting categories such as black movies and black stories. States that are now removing statues of individuals that should have never even went up in the first place. And one of the most recent things that I've heard about is Disney Splash Zone Mountain. Apparently, it was originally themed after the 1946 racist movie Song of the South. Uh, Disney has finally decided to retheme the attraction, and they're going to be retheming it after The Princess and the Frog. Now, I may sound a bit ungrateful, but I have to say, all of this is just too little, too late. First of all, we never asked for any of this. We should never even have to have asked for any of this. But unfortunately, we live in a world where things like this have been accepted. These actions and these decisions have been accepted, and they've just been standard for so fucking long. The world is truly responding as if we just showed up here. Like people of color just came out when they're the ones that actually came and picked us up. So you know that we're here. The fact that in the year 2020, you have to take down statues of white supremacists or finally decide that a racist fucking movie should not be the theme ride at a fun park is just absolutely absurd. And truly, what does it help? The damage is already done. I'm pretty sure we all at one point in time have been in a relationship where we were wronged or treated poorly. And as soon as you decided that you were going to stand up for yourself and not take that shit anymore, your partner decides that he or she can now change. Now I'm going to love you the way that I should love you. Now I'm going to love you the right way. Now I'm going to treat you with the respect and the honor that you deserve. And for those of you that have been in this situation, I ask you, how long before that charade ended? Now, I don't want to sound like a negative Nelly here, so maybe, just maybe, these minute changes will one day make a difference for some of the generations to come. However, the ones of us that are here, those of us that are still breathing, all we're truly asking for is equality. And the arrest, all the arrests of the murderers that took not only Breonna Taylor and Elijah McClain lives, but all of those that have not been named or hashtagged or that we cannot see videos of. Arrest these people. They're murderers. Point blank period. They're murderers. That's where we need to start. That's what we've been asking for. Y'all can throw all the black movies back in with the other movies. I'll search for them. The white voice actors, they can keep reading for black characters, but please help us to arrest these murdering motherfuckers. That's truly all that we want. And while we're at it, maybe, just maybe, we can change the laws that allow these people to literally get away with murder. Instead of investing the millions and millions of dollars that we know Disney is about to spend to remove a theme that was racist when they put it up, can those funds be donated to a greater cause? Maybe one that may actually help to make a difference in a black person's life. I mean, I hate to do nothing but complain, but it took y'all so damn long to finally get a black Disney princess that I don't think the community was moved too greatly when she did come out. And let's be real. Thanks to my ex-husband's generosity, we and the children, we finally got a chance to visit several of the parks last year, or maybe it was a couple of years ago. And truly, if we wanted to see another black person, there were about three options. We could look in the mirror, we could look at one another, or we could just hold our fucking breath. So this is all that I'm saying. We're not unappreciative because we understand everyone from the voice actors to Disney. You guys are digging into your wallets in some sense of the word. But we are asking for the changes that are going to directly impact the African American community throughout this country to result in the equality, that we just so greatly deserve from the start of this relationship. I was pissed off when I saw my social media timeline full of, so what are y'all going to do, white people? All these posts, they piss me off, but now I understand. Now I get it. We're truly all in this together. And as much as I love being able to find an Eddie Murphy movie without the hassle, I would find more joy in knowing the arrest and prosecution of Breonna Taylor and Elijah McClain's murderers are no longer an unattainable goal. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I definitely want to thank Anna and KD for sitting down with me tonight and allowing this conversation to go where it needed to go. This is not something that is easy for them to talk about. It's not something that's easy for most of us to sit with our children and talk about. But it's something that we do have to do. And I'm glad that we had this opportunity tonight. And I want to thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Again, this is Charlese with Charlese Presents. And we want to thank you. You have yourself a great weekend. You guys be safe. And we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.